So, have you guys ever heard of the Medici family? No? Alright, well, go play Assassin's Creed 2, and that'll fill in the details that you need for this video. Nah, but in all seriousness, the Medicis were a prominent political and banking dynasty in the days of the Italian Renaissance. They earned their fortune via the Medici Bank and textile trading. From this wealth, they ascended to the heights of European society. Nowadays, the Medicis are primarily remembered for their patronage of the arts and sciences. They used their vast fortunes to support the likes of Galileo Galilei, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and the construction of great works such as St. Peter's Basilica. Their patronage extended beyond a simple fee for a desired service. It was a method for maintaining their power. The Medicis showcased their wealth and power by spending that wealth on lavish displays. Much of Medici sponsored art depicted religious figures, and the Medicis were a prominent force in the Counter Reformation against Martin Luther's reformation of the Catholic Church. From this, they gained respect in the eyes of older institutions like the Church and the Crown. A mutually beneficial relationship was created, one where the artist creates their art thanks to the patronage of their benefactor, and the benefactor uses that art to maintain their status. And this is true of every artistic endeavor since. Every creative pursuit, whether it be films or books or journalism or content, requires a Medici. That Medici might be a traditional media outlet or university or a tech company or an algorithm or a government, but regardless of where the money comes from, it has to come from somewhere, because the artist still has to eat. You know all those pictures of Vladimir Putin shirtless on horseback? Someone out there gets paid to do that. That's his real job. You might not like it, but that guy is an artist getting paid to ply his trade because it is useful to his Medici. And so, if you want to be a creative person, if you want this to be your life and your job, pleasing your Medici comes before anything else. Before ethics, before quality, before audience, everything. So, why am I talking about this? In 2018, the Supreme Court of the United States heard the case of Murphy versus NCAA on the issue of sports gambling. In a 6-3 decision, the court found that the federal government lacked the authority to prevent individual states from legalizing sports betting. That decision launched an industry that has changed American sports forever. And how do I know that? Because I have no idea when this video will air or what the sports world will look like. But what I do know is that there is almost certainly some news story going around about gambling, pro sports, and threats to the integrity of the game. In 2024, it was Jontay Porter. When I first drafted this piece, we were talking about Malik Beasley. Who's next? Who knows? And now, in late 2025, we know the script for how these things get covered. Bombshell allegations. Strict condemnation by the media and the leagues. If guilty, the guy gets banned for life. And then everyone decides to lay off. We don't talk about the social conditions that led to this issue. We don't talk about the culpability of leagues or media outlets, all of whom have signed up for long-term deals with sportsbooks. We don't talk about how we can make the necessary changes that have to happen, not only to protect the integrity of the game, but also to protect the fans who have been led on a dark path by compulsive gambling and the culture that surrounds it. Because it's basically impossible to be a sports fan today and not hear about gambling. It's on every broadcast, sponsoring every sports pod, and now is even physically stamped on the playing surface in some leagues. And this is the part where I'm supposed to say that this is a problem. That we need to ban gambling and gambling advertising to protect fans, the integrity of the game, and sports culture as a whole. But I'm not. Why? Because every artist needs a Medici. In the 30-ish years that we've had the internet, the publishing world has learned many lessons. Namely, that it is very, very hard to make money off of something that you give away for free. We got so used to free content in the early days on sites like Napster, and so creators have had to find other ways to make enough to make ends meet. And there's a lot of ways to do this. Patreon, merch, touring, streaming, you name it. But the easiest way is via advertising. And gambling sites make a handy partner for creators of sports content. The sportsbooks gain access to an audience that is likely to be invested in their product. They get access to the show's demographic data, allowing them to target new users more effectively. For the content creator, they get steady revenues from companies always looking to advertise and a value add for returning viewers. Listen to my pod for tips so you can make better bets and earn more money. And so we have a mutually beneficial relationship where the artist can create their art because of patronage by their benefactor, and the benefactor can use that art to maintain their status. Does that sound familiar? And look, full disclosure, outside fantasy football, I don't bet, It's not my thing. I've never been approached by gambling companies for this channel, so I can't really get into how much they offer. But regardless, it's pretty clear that the money ain't bad, especially with how prominently gambling features within the industry. I do wish that the ads were less prevalent, but I'm not going to turn up my nose at any creator that takes the money, because the alternative to a sports media supported by gambling is not a sports media unsupported by gambling. The alternative is a sports media unsupported by gambling where a lot of people get fired. So yeah, that's where I'm at on sports gambling, the media, and where the two intersect. At the end of the day, we've all still got to eat, and sports books are doing the feeding. Whether that's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. That's just how it is. I don't see any of this changing anytime soon. We all still want to get this stuff for free. For change to happen, we'd have to see either Murphy get overturned, unlikely considering the court's makeup hasn't changed much, for the leagues themselves to turn down sponsorship revenue, unlikely, or for sports media to do the same, ditto. Regardless, I hope I've helped you all understand why it seems like gambling is everywhere, even as the practice remains controversial. It sticks around because all the people that need to get taken care of get taken care of. Will that change? We'll see.